Yeah, it's always like laying there. The books always slide out of the rack underneath their chair. It's like every day you come in, huh?
Yeah.
Like whoever puts their feet up just kind of plops out and they don't think of it. Oh, it's you know who it is. It's Landon Mace. He sits there. Old Carl. So describe what a role means in sociology. Give an example of a role. Detail certain roles that you acquire. Still working, Roy? All right. All right, so we ready? So we first need to know what a status is before we talk about a role. What's that? Huh? I know, but we need to first know what a status is before we talk about a role. So what is a status? What do you think? So I'm sure with your research on your iPad, you had to figure out what a status is. What is a status? Anybody? Madam, what's a status? Yeah, so it's a position, right? So it's a position that we might have within a group. Okay. And what is your status here right now, Leah? A student. So what would your role be as a student? Huh? To get your work done, to get good grades. Okay. So your specific role, though, as a student, is it the same as, let's say, Roy? Why not? Okay. All right. So Roy's role would be a little bit different as a student than yours because maybe Roy, he might be focused on what? What's your favorite class? Accounting? Oh yeah, he's a math magician over there. He's a big account. Not today, Bree says.
It was
What?
writing a check, and he did not know how to do it. And I argued.
You don't know how to write a check.
None of us.
What?
Because like, I know how to write a check. With technology now, you can just like.
Your status as a check writer. I want to know your roles are terrible as a check writer.
I know how to now.
Yeah, and I kept arguing.
Well, what you're messing up on the check writing?
Yeah, you did.
What were you messing up?
So he would put, it was instead of the price of the actual check, he would put the deposit amount, and I tried to tell him that the deposited amount was not the actual amount of the check. And he needed to put the other one.
Roy, you're failing as your role as an accountant.
Well, the check part, it's only the check stub part that is probably wrong,
Oh, okay.
but the actual check part,
No,
But
okay.
he can do the other thing.
Got it. Got it. Well, Tegan, what's your status? What other statuses do you have than, let's say, a student? An athlete. Good job. And what's your role as an athlete? On the soccer field, right? So Madden, you're also an athlete, but your role as an athlete's a little bit different than Tegan's, right? How come? You play a different sport, right? Yeah, there you go. So you get it? You understand what a role, status, how that kind of work together? Today we'll talk about different types of statuses and maybe some that just kind of fall into our laps without even doing anything. So ascribe status. And then today we'll also talk about achieve status, which maybe you have to work a little bit for to receive that status. Some, they just kind of fall right in your lap. Maybe if you're like a king or a queen, next in line, you just get that status no matter what. It's part of the bloodline. But for an achieve status, maybe as a president, you had to put some work in, right? Okay, so we'll talk about that today. Terms for today, let's get to it. We'll talk about some specific people and maybe how their roles for their certain status maybe isn't too good. Or maybe is just a little off. So I'll have you think about some certain people, their statuses and their roles. Oh, that's the wrong one. Not government. Sorry, guys. We're getting into government here, Madden. You see that? Oh my gosh. What? You should know. 5 principles to the Constitution. That's all you right there. Your role as a government student. There you go. All right. So, there's quite a bit up there. I know. I'm sorry, but they're pretty self-explanatory. I like a lot of sociology terms, and we'll discuss these terms today as we roll through the presentation. We got role, social institution, role conflict. Ooh, it's a big one. It's a big one. I'm sure we all have some sort of role conflict here and there.
Oh, Mr. Robert, I will be here today, so can I do my thing for?
Well, we might have to do tomorrow. We might have a person come present on Thursday about a college of some sort. I'll have to check. I'll have to look into that actually. I don't know why they chose my class, but oh well.
I think they're just taking that.
I think you're right. I think you're just like, oh, hey,
Oh.
what's that?
I think tomorrow it's my English class.
Oh, what's cool? Oh, I think mine's more vocational.
I'd rather do that than work.
Exactly.
You don't do anything in English.
But I'd
That's the
rather
point,
listen
it's
to someone
boring.
else talk for once.
Who's that with?
Yeah,
Mrs.
seriously.
Kerwin.
Come on now.
She's a good person.
I
Just
don't
like we don't
hate
get stuff
her.
done
She-
on class.
Brian
She's, I know, Ryan does. Yeah, she's a good person. I just, class with her.
Just
Ryan
take
is
advantage
on
of
the
it.
entire.
Brian Marino.
Ryan.
Oh.
For discovery.
Huh?
Ryan works.
Oh, yeah, she's, I don't know. Her personality changed quite a bit since freshman year. She's always like real quiet, shy. and-
She's not quiet.
No. So one thing in Discovery, I always go around. How's your day going? Or how's your weekend? It's a Monday. Oh, all right. Every day she says that. All right. See you later. Moving on.
Doesn't even really like Mondays though.
No, not really. Yesterday was a Monday, let me tell you. I was not feeling it yesterday.
You want me to have it done by tomorrow?
If you can, that'd be great. Yeah, it is a vocational school. Universal Technical Institute. UTI. I feel like they should find a new name for that.
Can we go to another class and look at it?
Or not. I know that's a bad name,
I wouldn't even want to go to that school.
just because the name.
Yeah, imagine saying, I graduated from UTI.
Look, it was wonderful. Yeah. Hey, I'm not
Think
making
somebody
fun.
would say something about it.
Not making fun of it at all. I was just, I feel like they should get a new name. Yeah, I think I remember him coming on 2 years ago.
And it's gonna be in this class too.
I think so. Yeah.
Sociology has nothing to do with it.
Trust me, I know. I don't know. I'm not sure why they chose me, but maybe because I see a lot of students all day. I don't know.
They said you get the period off. They're giving you a break.
I guess, yeah. You know what? Yeah,
Think it on the bright side here.
cool. No, he does a lot of, I think he does like some magic tricks, which is kind of funny. Pretty cool. It's like Brian Marino throwing cards around. Is this your card? Nope. Okay.
What'd you say?
All right, so we're going to be talking about these terms today, and let's get started on the presentation. Everybody get them down? Yeah? Chris? Do you have them written down now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're going to move on here. You can work on that if we finish up early. That'd be great. There it is. Stat test today. Look out. All right, so what is a role? We'll be talking about roles today and status. And we already mentioned what roles were in our bell ringer. And that is, let's say, a behavior that we have from certain norms, traditions, values in our culture. And for certain roles of some people that have a certain status, it might be not what we think, right? Not what we think. And here's a good example. I'm sure you guys know her. Britney Spears, yeah. Is that getting a little too old for you guys?
No, I
Really? Oh, Britney Spears was like big when I was in elementary school. Hit me, baby, one more time. Yeah. Free Britney, right? Maybe not after that picture. Yeah, so anyway, with roles, these are behaviors, routines, responses we carry out in everyday life. We all know Britney Spears, who was a famous singer, pop star, and some of her past, right? So after maybe her fame and fortune, she went downhill a little bit. She went downhill a little bit. She shaved her head. Like I posted the video up on like Twitter. She was going through a lot of psychological issues, problems. I think just because the big fame she had for a long time.
She was trying to like take the attention off
Yeah, Zoe 101, right?
That's her sister.
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
I knew that.
Jamie Lynn Spears.
Got pregnant.
Yeah.
Was that a show you guys used to watch?
Yeah, that's why
Okay.
Zoe 101 ended, because she got pregnant.
Yes, exactly.
All her fault. That was a good show.
I used to like Zoe 101 too. I was coming towards the end of my cartoon days.
They also knew iCarly.
It's
No, I never seen it, and I.
it's weird.
Yeah, something happened with who's the co-star on iCarly?
Miranda Cosgrove.
Is it
No,
Jeanette McCurdy, yeah. And she was
No, she
Which
said
one
that
is that?
the like director had to put fetish or something, and she had to be a part of it.
I heard she got in trouble for leaking photos.
Yeah.
I was gonna say photos leaked out about her.
No.
What's that?
How is iCarly?
Jeanette McCurdy.
And then it's just like the grown-up version of it. So it's like
Another actor, child's actor, Miley Cyrus. She went off the edge a little bit, right? And her role definitely changed when we viewed her during that that stage she had. Yeah. So from a child's I won't say cartoon, but child's show to doing a lot of provocative things and weird things on stage and really changing her role as, let's say, a mentor to some people and a star. Yeah. So those roles definitely fit. I think when we talk about those certain actors and how they changed over time and how some of the things that they've done in their past. Are you still talking about actors back there?
Talking about the hot guy. Travis, the cowboy.
Jeez. Okay. All right. All right, Madden, calm down back there. You're breaking norms here in class. All right. What?
That's not a bad word.
I know, but gee whiz. All right. Anyway, so roles and social structures. So we all know that certain roles fit in together that we can understand as a social institution or a social structure. So here at school, right, this fits perfect. Teacher up front, right, very mature. He doesn't have any type of Thor hammers in his desk or anything like that. He doesn't say any dumb jokes. He has Batman action figures all over the place. Yeah, definitely not breaking any weird rules here. Yeah. And then you have the students. We have the students. So we can see how that fits in a social institution, social structure, fitting our roles together. And we already talked about different roles that you have in here. Okay, different statuses, I want to say, and how our roles are different from person to person. So yeah, you're all students, but maybe you don't all achieve or view education as someone else. Or maybe you're a little bit more focused in a certain core content. Or with athletics, we might play a different sport. Even if we do play the same sport, we might have a different position. So our roles can alter, can change depending on what we're involved in. And our statuses could change over time. Right? Definitely, we can add more statuses to our current. And we'll talk about a master status today, something that we all know that, well, let's say one person, what they're focused around. So let's just say Dak Prescott. When you think of Dak Prescott, what do you think? What do you think, Roy?
Cowboys.
The Cowboys, a football player, right? That's his status. Okay. And a certain role with that. It's a quarterback. He's a quarterback. Was he always a starting quarterback, though? No. All right. So you can see how it changes over time. All right. So role conflict. Role conflict is a term that's given to understand how people's roles could alter or change and how we maybe juggle them all together. Okay. So a good example, women, right? Through the industrial age. And with sociology becoming a new studied field at that time, women's roles in society totally changed and the expectations raised. Okay. Obviously, being a mother, taking care of the children, and at the same time, joining the workforce. So roles definitely changing and maybe being added at the time. And priorities, how priorities in certain roles could alter someone's status. So women don't always have to have children, right? They can just maybe be focused more on their professional career. They don't have to be mothers. Okay. And that obviously changed during this time period of the industrial age. Okay, that's altered. And that's obviously a huge change in society and the way we view society. Yeah, there's still some traditional values, traditional cultural values and norms that are still followed that we can still reflect and relate from before the industrial age. But overall, the industrial age kind of just threw everything out of whack, and especially with our statuses and roles. So role conflict, maybe think of an example of role conflict that you guys maybe face. What do you think? Chris? What kind of examples can you come up with role conflict that you face? Okay, what about it? You could reflect it, you could resemble it off of school and something else.
Give an example.
Huh? Him changing schools? Okay, all right, I can see that. Maybe in different classes, your role in different classes. Okay, so that could be in conflict with one another. I think it's something different though. Leah, what do you think?
Well, I used to be a marching band.
So did you have to give up a certain role because of more time being devoted towards volleyball?
Yeah, I don't get to practice anymore. So I get it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, isn't it? Yeah, so maybe your status altered or changed, or maybe your master status was veered in a different direction. Yeah, good job. Roy, what example can you come up with?
Like,
Role conflict.
like some people would say, like, you're not old enough to like understand.
Okay, all right. Like what?
Like how they say like older people are somewhat sometimes wise and younger people are don't really know too much about like things in like the past, like you didn't know what it was like to be in that.
Okay, all right. So you're saying, like, let's say with a position, like any type of position that you might have in a career, maybe accounting. Let's say that. So accounting, let's say back in the early 1900s, they have technology, they have computers. Do you think they could maybe fit as an accountant in today's world? Maybe a little bit, but it'd be a lot harder, especially with the use of technology. All right, good. So that's a good example of how role conflict can be obviously an issue. You might have the same title, but doing things are totally different. Yeah. Let's just look at education. Let's just look at the teachers here. Mr. Henninger, good with tech?
No.
No, okay. But he's still an educator, right? He's still a teacher. He's a good teacher. And I know with the AP exams, he does really well with those. You students do well in his class with that. And let's just say with Miss Nell, art teacher, right? So same type of teaching skills and strategies, maybe totally different, but at the same time, their roles as educators are the same. But that conflict, you can see the conflict and how that is different between their two roles. All right, so status. So what is a status? Well, that is, oh, sorry, there you go. A status is where your stance is in a certain society. Okay, so this is your title, right? And we talked about certain statuses already, as let's say an educator, as a student, as a member of the band, as a volleyball player. And we'll talk about the scribe status and the chief status today. I'll try to get it in. So we're running a little late in time. Try to zoom past it here. The status recognizes difference between people. Difference between people. Oh, jeez. Role conflict. Role conflict with Roy. What do we think? You know what I'm thinking of. Some ornaments.
There's a lot of dust on it.
I know. I need to clean it off. It's getting gross.
Yeah.
What's that?
Whiteboard,
Yeah, he was getting them all together. He was putting them organized. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
He's getting ready for that Christmas season.
Yeah. I know. I always go through role conflict going through the seasons. Right now, I'm in spooky phase. I've been watching Halloween movies all the time. No, I love Thanksgiving. I love it. I always get those gobblers. You ever have a gobbler before? Really? It's a turkey sandwich with cranberry, mayo, and stuffing on it.
I don't make turkey at
Weird. All right.
Thanksgiving. I don't eat
How do you not eat turkey?
I think both, because some people like it. I love turkey.
Oh, I get that. All right. So difference between, I went past it. Sorry again. Difference between status and a role. So status is socially defined position in a group or society. In society, role is behavior expected of someone. And we already went over some examples of certain behaviors that maybe be a little off when looking at a certain person or a person of a certain status. We said Miley Cyrus, we said Britney Spears, right? And how their roles have changed for sure, and maybe their status. Certain, let's say certain people can change their status over time. I know many actors, I know many psychologists, athletes, after they're done with their career, they maybe get into broadcasting. So right now, Tony Romo, right? Roy, at one time he was a big football player, big football star. Now we know him as a broadcaster. Shaq's a great one too. Yeah. Drew Brees. Yeah. So their statuses change over time. And people growing up now, that's all they see him in that certain status in that broadcast. So, oh, well, back in the day, he used to be a good football player, so a basketball player, whatever have you. That's how statuses can alter or change. So roles, again, behaviors. Current news, Urban Meyer. Anybody know Urban Meyer? Some of the things he was doing. Oh man, yeah. So he didn't ride on the bus back to the with the team after the one game. Went out to the bar and was dancing with some young girls. So obviously his behaviors maybe didn't fit the status, and that's why it was huge news. It's like, wait a minute, here's this head football coach, around 60 years old.
Oh, is that the guy that never like followed
Yeah. So that's a good example of talking about how his role and his certain status as a head football coach maybe doesn't fit. And obviously it's big news when that is broken. All right, so a scribe status, neither earned or chosen, it is assigned to us. Scribe status. So a good example of this would be, I don't know, Prince Harry, right? Prince William, you guys know them? Yeah, there you go. So they were just given the title. They were just born right into it. What's that?
Would that also be like something that would be a symbol of race or wealth?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you're born into a wealthy family, that would be a good example. Unless you're Andrew Carnegie's kids. Poor kids didn't get a dime. Right, Tegan? Would you be ticked off?
Yeah.
Not even $1 million, right? Yeah, they like in today's money, he'd be worth $340 billion. He didn't give anything to his kids. Oh, so I guess that wouldn't be a good example for his kids. Oh, well, you're coming from a rich family. No, no, no. So scribe status. I used to talk about it with my buddy from Blue Mountain. Whenever I think of Blue Mountain, I'm like, oh, the rich kids, the rich kids of the Schuylkill County. And he's like, oh, we're not rich, we're not rich. And I always thought that was funny. It's like, oh, you're a scribe status. Achieve status is where people, some degree, have control or choice. All right, so how they make something of their name. Okay. And we didn't know this person beforehand, right? It's not like they were born into a royalty family. It's that they, a good example, athletes, right? How they made a name for themselves, working through college, well, high school, college, and into the pros. CEO of a company. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So we'll talk about status webs here soon. So you're going to have to create your own status web and branch off of many different statuses you might have and explain some certain roles for each status that is particular to that status that you pick or choose. All right. So obviously that's not mine. I just put up an example of a status web. I'll talk about that here soon enough. I will have an assignment for you eventually on that. Fan, like a fan of sports.
Oh,
Fan, I am fan. I love fan.
you're also an aunt.
Yeah, that's obviously not mine, but I was just trying to look for an example. That's the first one I saw. I'm like, put it up there. Looking at it, well, maybe that one doesn't fit me. But anyway, you guys get the gist of what I'm looking for of a status web. We'll talk about that soon. I'll have an assignment towards the end of this PowerPoint. Last one here. So here's certain examples of, let's say, a scribe status or an achieve status. Roy, you like that one, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. Dude, I own you, right? Remember, do you hear that? Oh, well, Aaron Rodgers, when he beat the Bears, there's some fans giving the middle fingers, and he's just like, oh, I own you.
We haven't
Oh,
won
what?
any playoffs in any playoff games is because of that.
What'd you say?
The only reason we haven't won a playoff game is because
I know. Achieve status. Making sure the Cowboys don't get to the playoff, even more playoff games.
making sure his own team doesn't get to the Super Bowl.
Oh, losing in the NFC title game, huh?
You can get a scribe status through marriage too, right? With the third birth, but also, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good example right here with Meghan Markle. Yeah. So before she was married to Prince Harry, was she an actress? What was she in? Oh, that's right. She was in that. Yeah. Well, I might have to change that one just because I feel like they're trying to break away from the royal family. Yeah. Maybe that's why I brought it up. Topic of debate. Topic of debate. It's like, wait a minute. We all know this is Prince Harry here, Meghan Markle, but maybe they're trying to reach their fame off of the royal family that they were once part of.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, you see how that's working? Oh, yeah, they're not famous from something else. Let me tell you. All right. Is there any questions on that, guys? I wanted to get the master status, but I'll talk about that more tomorrow. And maybe I'll get you working on your status webs tomorrow as well. And Friday, I guess we can talk about them. Sound good?
Sure.
Yeah. So if you want to, you can create a poster for it. I'll talk about it more tomorrow, or you can do it online, whatever. I think Prezi is a good thing you can use. You know, just go back and forth. You guys ever used Prezi before? Really? Oh, Roy does. Yeah, they count. All right, there you go. That's all I got for today. Aaron Rodgers, Roy. You just wish you had a quarterback like that.